The Houston Texans have had quite the offseason, signing some really good players, making kind of a weird trade, but all in all, really good things, just essentially because the Houston Texans have a great quarterback, and a lot of good things are going to come from that. And so now we're going to look at a mock draft, but this mock draft is missing some really key information where I think it looks like the Houston Texans are going to make a really bold move, and they're setting themselves up to get a wide receiver. We'll look at that. If you're new to the channel, we're Detroit Lions fans, but we have this channel all about teams that kind of get just kind of ignored by the national media. And we've always liked the Texans just because we don't like the Cowboys. And so it's like, hey, let's talk Texans. So this channel is all about the Texans. And so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. We would love to have you. Okay, so I'll show you this 7-round mock draft kind of quick. And what you'll see in here is that they're targeting wide receiver, but then we'll look at a top 30 visit that, because remember, each team can have 30 visits with prospects. And so that kind of, you don't want to look too much into that, but also it's like, come on, these are the guys that they're looking at. And they're looking at a wide receiver from UCF that's like, yeah, that would be awesome, but he's not in this mock draft. So let's just take a quick peek at this, and then we'll look over at what the bold move that I think they're setting themselves up to do. Okay, round 2, pick 42, Braden Fisk, excuse me, defensive tackle. Fine. I mean, anytime you take a D tackle, DN, corner, any premium position, it's like, absolutely. I mean, just like, fine. D tackle, love it. Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota with pick number 59. I like this one. And here's why I like it is because safety, though the Texans have kind of made some waves in free agency with their secondary, a young safety, young corner, again, can't go wrong. Bo Lemer, center, Arkansas. I love these picks just because they make sense and they're at premium positions. Like, just, again, we can interchange these, and Lemur goes up in the second round, however it pans out. But these are great picks because they're really good positions. Okay, round 4, pick 123, Malik Washington from Virginia. Now, this is where you have to start paying attention if you're a Texans fan. You need a wide receiver. The reason you need a wide receiver is because you've got an excellent quarterback that will take that wide receiver and immediately make them really good. You look at Tank Dell, you look at Nico Collins from Michigan. Look at what Stroud did for those guys immediately. So a wide receiver really have a lot of impact. So let's come back to that in round 4. Another pick in round 4, Cade Stover. They beat us a grade A. Again, I'm here in Michigan, so I don't want to be biased. It's an Ohio State guy, but the last 3 years that Michigan played Ohio State, Cade Stover disappeared and, in fact, played bad. And so when he goes up against top talent, he doesn't stand out. He's slow, not great hands. I mean, you just have to, that's just what it is. So I don't like that pick at all. Corner, cool. And then another tight end. So let's look at who this top 30 visit was with. Top 30 visit, A to Z Sports is all over it. Let me go back up to the top. It is with Javon Baker. Now, Javon Baker, and this is what's interesting about this, is he's ranked not super high, but it's basically getting to the depth of this. So he's the 87th overall prospect. So that puts you kind of third roundish. The 16th overall wide receiver in the class. That sounds bad, but it's just how deep this class is. So that's good news for the Texans, but they are definitely looking at wide receiver. So to bring him in, it's a guy like, you know what? I think we can get him in the 3rd round. If you go back to the picks that the Texans have in the 3rd round, they've got 3rd round pick right here. So 2nd, 3rd round pick 86, which is about right. They said he's the 87th overall prospect. Good size, good length for an X receiver. So now you get your big body on the other side, along with Nico Collins. You got Tank Dell kind of work in the middle. You can possibly get another tight end to go on with Dalton Schultz. Like, that's the draft move that's happening, right? Is this really good wide receiver? This is just one, right? I think that's my point here. This is one of 20 wide receivers that the Texans could pick from. And I think they're going to make the move at wide receiver sooner rather than later. So one of those second round picks, a third round pick, one of those is where you could really expect it. So again, if you're a Texans fan, let me know in the comments who you really hope they draft. Let me know also too where you would kind of grade this free agency, just kind of this offseason so far. I put it at a B. And that's the thing. I keep saying it. You don't need an A plus, knock it out of the park offseason. You don't, because you've got a quarterback and he's gonna kind of make uh, all the bad things go away, all the mistakes that you make. If you don't hit on a player just perfectly, CJ Stroud is good enough to make up for it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I think wide receiver is the move that they're going to make. They could trade back even further and pick up more picks, or they could get a little bit of aggressive, maybe get back in the first round and get a really good wide receiver as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see all of you on the next one.